How many secrets has Keir Starmer been hiding, to the point that every day new shocking revelations are coming to light? He truly is a Prime Minister skilled in the art of covering up the truth. So it's no surprise that he faces humiliation as the immigration data is exposed right during the PMQs. Let's follow the shocking developments that unfold. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any breaking news from British politics. In the United Kingdom, 72% of Somalians live in social housing, a figure far exceeding the 16% of the overall population. This has raised concerns about the impact of immigration policies, particularly as the number of households headed by someone born abroad rises in social housing. Immigration policy and welfare entitlements have become hot topics in Parliament, with Conservative commentators and MPs like Nick Timothy from the Conservative Party expressing concerns about the lack of transparency in publishing data related to nationality and benefit claims. In major cities like London, the proportion of immigrant households in social housing has reached 7.6%, sparking heated debates over the government's welfare and immigration policies under Keir Starmer's leadership. Despite criticism of this policy, Starmer and his government insist they are considering measures to improve and publish data regarding benefit claims by nationality, aiming to foster a fairer debate on the effects of immigration policies on the welfare system. MPs such as Rupert Lowe and Neil O'Brien have stressed the need for full transparency regarding welfare claims by nationality to clarify resource allocation and prevent immigration from negatively affecting the social housing system. However, Starmer has yet to make a clear commitment to releasing this information, deepening the suspicions surrounding the government's motivations. The question arises: does Keir Starmer's government truly want to open up a transparent debate about immigration policy? Or is it simply trying to cover up information to avoid criticism? Regardless, these discussions will undoubtedly remain a crucial part of the UK's political landscape in the coming months. The debate over immigration policy in the UK is receiving significant attention from campaigns like Reform UK and Matt Goodwin, along with letters from the Centre Parliament calling for greater transparency on how migrants interact with the national welfare system. This is a matter that the UK has struggled with when it comes to collecting and publishing clear data. Unlike countries such as the Netherlands, where immigration data is readily available and transparent, the UK still lacks a clear understanding of who is claiming benefits and welfare entitlements. Keir Starmer's immigration policy has made this issue particularly significant. Since Starmer took over the Labour leadership, the number of social housing households, especially those headed by immigrants, has risen dramatically. This has raised questions about how the government is handling immigration, as well as whether immigration and welfare data will be published fully and accurately. Commentators and MPs like Nick Timothy have called for the government to release immigration data in order to have a more open and transparent discussion. Interestingly, although this debate has been ongoing in online forums for some time, it has now infiltrated corridors of power, with independent organisations like the Pimlico Journal and the Migration Control Centre playing a vital role in pushing for transparency. These organisations are providing data and analysis that Starmer's government has failed to deliver. In fact, Starmer and his government are being criticised for not providing full information on the impact of immigration policy on the welfare and housing systems. Although these organisations are not part of the mainstream political establishment, they are gathering and publishing the information that the UK government seems to have overlooked, creating a data gap that MPs and civil society groups are trying to fill. The data suggests that a significant portion of new immigrants come from countries with no close cultural or political ties to the UK, which only heightens concerns about the impact of the immigration wave on the country's social policies. With Starmer's immigration policy continuing to spark debates over transparency and long-term impacts, the question arises: does the government genuinely want to provide data for an open and honest discussion on immigration, or will they continue to withhold information to protect their political decisions? Organisations and individuals like the Pimlico Journal and the Migration Control Centre are likely to play a key role in forcing the government to face the truth about the immigration policy they've implemented. Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party, has introduced mass immigration policies, a decision causing significant controversy in British society. Although the policy is justified as a solution to economic and demographic issues, it is producing clear negative consequences. A recent study from the Netherlands, particularly Jan van der Beek's work on the welfare state without borders, has shown that mass immigration has severely harmed society. Data from various European countries reveals that immigration not only fails to make a positive contribution to the economy, but also burdens public services such as the NHS and drives up housing costs, making life more difficult for native citizens. In fact, statistics from the Netherlands show that the proportion of social housing residents, including those not participating in the labour market, such as students and retirees, is increasing, placing the burden on taxpayers. While Starmer and his government argue that immigration is essential to sustain public services like social care, such studies indicate that this is merely a myth. For every skilled worker, like a doctor or engineer, there are large numbers of dependents relying on public services, putting pressure on the social system. This, from many perspectives, is not an addition, but rather a dependence. Furthermore, Starmer's immigration policy is creating an implicit discrimination in the reception of migrant groups. Countries such as India, Pakistan, China and Nigeria are seeing increasing numbers of immigrants coming to the UK, many of whom are Muslim, creating a significant social shift. This gradually leads to debates about whether certain immigrant groups contribute more, while others place a heavier burden on society. Although this conversation may be criticised as racist or intolerant of diversity, it is necessary if immigration policy is not to continue undermining Britain's social values. The British people can't help but notice the negative impact of mass immigration policies on their daily lives. The lack of control over migration, particularly when large groups are introduced into communities without preparation, has caused widespread dissatisfaction in public opinion. Keir Starmer and the Labour Party may be well aware of this data, but they are reluctant to make it public because doing so would undermine their political narrative. The immigration policy he promotes could lead to a loss of trust in the government and even threaten the legitimacy of the entire post-war social order that Western governments have built. When the distinction between migrant groups and their contributions can't be addressed, Starmer's immigration policy will only continue to generate a crisis for the economy, public services and social integration. This is an assessment of the current situation, pointing out that until the leadership is genuinely ready to face and address this issue, it will be difficult to expect the public release of immigration data. If this happens, the consequences could be irreversible. It's known that not only the Labour Party, but also a significant portion of the Conservative Party, is concerned about releasing immigration data. Interventions from figures like Nick Timothy have made many in the Conservative Party uneasy, with calls for data release from Neil O'Brien. While O'Brien is an expert in gathering and analysing information, this request has raised concerns within Conservative ranks, as it could expose flaws in several visa programmes that the Conservative Party's policy has endorsed, which have been criticised as ineffective. Should the silence on this issue be broken and a culture of transparency formed, the release of immigration data would not only pose difficulties for the Labour Party, who have failed to implement reasonable immigration policies, but also trouble the Conservative Party, who have created the environment for these immigration programmes to exist over the years. This creates a crucial element in the current political debate, a tacit consensus between the two main parties that immigrants are an integral part of the economy, viewed as economic units that are interchangeable, and that mass immigration is a necessary policy to sustain the economy. What do people think about the issues we have discussed in today's video? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest political developments in the UK. Thank you all and see you in the next videos.